Minecraft, but everything sounds a little different. Welcome to Askew Audio Overhaul, a complete rework of Minecraft Bedrock sounds. Whether you're taking a swim or listening to the rain fall, maybe you're mining stone or shoveling dirt, or talking to your local villagers. Or maybe you're taking the dive, finally, into the end. With over 3 hours of new tracks and hundreds of brand new sounds. But will the music be a symphony for our eyes? Will the audio overhaul be music to our ears? Or will everything just feel like an attack on the senses? Now for the GUI section, I'm actually going to sit this one out. I'm going to let you guys just listen to the music, watch the GUI as it loads in, and keep an eye out for the colors of the menus, the colors of the GUI interfaces, and the super cool little mouse icon as well. So we've already spent some time talking about how the audio has been overhauled in this texture pack. So now let's focus on the textures and the other features in this texture pack. But before we do that, this texture pack comes in at around 208 megabytes in size on the PS5 Pro. So if storage is important to you, now you know. And one other feature that we didn't speak about at all, because we've been talking so much about the audio overhaul, is the real-time seasons. Now, if you play a game in a world for long enough, the textures will completely change, as hopefully I'm putting on the screen now. Every 25 minutes or so, I've done 2 tests, they've been around 25 minutes. These textures do change and the season of the world changes. You come into the world and you have what we have behind me now, and after 25 minutes or so, it becomes autumn. And then after 25 minutes or so, I would assume it becomes the next season. And these are considered real-time seasons. Now, the same thing that happened when I did the previous texture pack that had seasons changing happening in there, I'm going to say 25 minutes is not long enough. That's practically every day and a quarter the seasons will change. And I feel like the world needs to have that more longevity in it. We're talking like maybe a week in-game could be more beneficial, in my opinion. Even that might not be a thing, but we should be talking hours, not minutes, when it comes to season changes, in my opinion, of course. Let me know down in the comments what opinion you have in regards to seasons in Minecraft, but that should be mentioned. So let's look at the world now. Now, the sky has what immediately says to me is a watercolor feel to it. I don't know why. I'm not a watercolor painter. I could be completely wrong, but that's the first opinion that popped into my head. And the textures of the world, when we look at them, they're using a 14 by 14 texture layout or resolution or whatever it's called, pixelization, I don't know, which is a bit off key. Like, I'm obviously used to 8, 16, 32, 64, 128, 256. So 14 by 14 feels a little bit weird, and it does come across as a little bit grainy in design. There is a lot of what I call pixelization and grain effect going on the blocks. But, I mean, is the textures the main thing here? I'm expecting a very vanilla friendly texture pack, a very vanilla inspired texture pack, because the audio is supposed to be such a big selling point here that I kind of not really sure what to expect. In terms of the water, we've got a very simple, subtle animation. It's a usual blue and not much in terms of color changes for this first initial season as we're going through. It does go to more orange for autumnal, and I haven't seen what winter and summer or winter and spring looks like, depending on what one we're here. But hey, there's something there for you to experience as you go through. So let's have a little look at the flowers now. And again, what gives me that kind of watercolor slash painting effect is kind of how the flowers are almost understated in detail. They're just kind of blotched on, because you're not really supposed to get this close to a painting. You're supposed to admire paintings from a little bit further back and take in that full overview of it, which is something that I feel like we've got here. We've got chickens down here as well, so good to know that the spring to life bug is not in full effect. And I want to check as well for variations. We've got like a squeaky chicken on here, okay. And apparently there are supposed to be size variations. There are supposed to be other types of variations. Can I get the thing? No, I don't have it up on the screen at the moment, but we've got tons of different variations that are supposed to be occurring in here. And that'll be interesting to see how they look. But first of all, not much of a variation on the chicken, and a massive sound change on the chicken. Then we've got the pig. So the pig feeling a bit more vanilla than the chickens did. The chickens with the yellow change. So on the pig here, how are we looking here? So they've got their own custom sound again. And again, not much of a variation change here on these passive mobs either. Same sizes, same colors. So bit weird on that effect. We've got these weird falling leaf effects down here as well, with that rotational, which was a little bit weird. We've also got some sand here as well, carrying on that grainy effect. I have to say, I'm not seeing a massive amount of variation in blocks, in mobs at the moment. There are slight pixel prominence, but that could just be the placement of the block, in fairness. So do we have any cows? Do we have any sheep around that can help us out here? I like the yellow chicken though. I think the yellow chicken is nice. I grab the yellow chicken again, that's a grass block. That's a chicken spawn egg, thank you. If we put it into a hotter biome, no, it remains yellow. Okay. Just trying to see what that spring to life variation effect is like. But we're not really going to get a chance to, are we, at the moment? Which is a shame. What about looking around the rest of the world? So the rest of the world, again, feels just very Minecrafty. A little bit toned down. That could be to do with the 14 by 14. And then obviously you've got that softer sky that I was saying at the top there. But it's not a massive visual overhaul when you're taking in the entirety of the world. That should be probably said. And at 990 mine tokens, of course, we're getting a lot of audio changes. It's so weird how Minecraft has to shoehorn things in as a texture pack. This is obviously not intended to be a texture pack. I don't think I'm saying anything crazy when I say that this is audio first, textures second. And so I don't know if this would have been better as an add-on. I don't know. Maybe there's certain limitations there. But we've got the sheep here. It's a very understated face. Again, very vanilla inspired. Not really reinventing the wheel on this sheep. There's the sounds. Sounds a bit weird. I don't even think that sounds like a sheep. That's like a spring being sprung. I don't know if I like that, in fairness. Got the messy texture underneath when we shave it. And it is consistent to the color, which is good. That's... So, the chicken was kind of like... The chicken was like a springy... Like a dog toy chicken. The pig had like a bassy boom. And the sheep sounds like a spring. Like a slinky or something. Like, I don't know. They're not very on brand, should be said. I like the audio overhaul in general. Like, I liked the music. I don't play with music, which is why I don't have music on now. I also didn't want it to mess up the video. But I did like how different it made the world feel in essence. But our first look at how passive mobs are sounding, definitely not the biggest fan of. I am a fan of this, though. Variation here in the cows. So, we've got a few different cows. I like the little bell on their neck, which is very nice. Obvious mob variation here too. We've got at least 3 different styles, which we wasn't seeing on the sheep, which we wasn't seeing on the chicken or the pig. And I like this add of the bell. Just kind of gives it that creative ownership. Their design. And it actually sounds like a cow with the clanging bell, which is cool. So this one I like. This one I'm quite cool with. I really do like this one, in fact. All right, let's see then how the horses are sounding. So we've got horses here. Let's get a few of these. Okay, I like the sound of the horses. The horses sound really good. The textures, again, very grainy. Not much detailing. If that's supposed to be the eye, it's a bit weird with that pixel below it as well. But hey-ho, what can you do? Next up, we've got the skeleton horses. Okay. That's a very weird shaped model, isn't it? I like that. That's ownership right there. That looks like no skeleton horse I've ever seen before. So I'm a fan of that, for sure. Okay, and then the zombie horses, which... Don't know why we go for these, but here we go. Oh, we got a little baby one, and now we got a bigger one. I like the underside of that. It kind of looks like an Eye of Ender. It's definitely grainy. It's definitely rough in design. It's not the easiest thing to look at. And I think that goes for some of the, like most of the textures here, to be honest with you. This is definitely an art style you'd have to get used to. One question I think would need to be asked, and maybe one of you guys might be able to answer this in the comment, is could you pair this with another texture pack and just get the audio and not have the textures? I don't know. Maybe I'll do some testing of that. I'm not sure. Let me know down in the comments if you know the answer, and if you don't know the answer, let me know if you want to know the answer. We can also see here the dirt and the stone as well. Not again seeing any variation on that. But that's how the passive mobs and the overworld is looking to begin with. Let's go and find ourselves a village. If you're a fan of lush caves, don't you worry, I've got you, because this is how the lush caves biomes look in this texture pack. And if you're a fan of redstone, I've also got you guys, because this is how the basic redstone components look in this texture pack as well. So just before we approach the village over here, which is buried inside a forest, let me just say two things. One that I should have said when we was talking about seasons. So if you leave a world, your seasons reset back to normal. The texture rotation basically returns back to normal, so that doesn't stay. You will leave a world in autumn, come back in spring, essentially. So just bear that in mind. And also, I went to have a look. There is no sub packs to this texture pack. So it's not like actions and stuff where you can turn a little slider, turn off textures, keep animations, or in this case, turn off textures and keep sounds. So just thought I'd answer those questions. So as we get closer to the village then, we can see, again, very vanilla inspired in what we've got in terms of blocks. Very crazy animations with the marching. That was a very, very fast march here. We've got diversity, which is absolutely awesome. And according to a hate comment that I received recently, I'm the only person who cares about diversity. Don't mind. Give me as much diversity as possible. Let me drink in all the diversity. I want this game to be as accessible to as many people as possible. I will never stop checking for diversity. Why does he have a sword? Hello, mate. How you doing? I nearly missed that on my little mini rant. We've got some crazy sounds going on. He's got a hoe. They got diamond. This village is rich. Why do you guys have tools? So you're a farmer, right? You've been given a tool because you're a farmer. I like that. And then this guy, you are a weaponsmith, so you've got a weapon in your hand. You are a weapon. Whoa, that's a scary face, actually. That is a very lack of detail face on there with a sword. Now, I'm so sorry, but you are going to have to die for this test. The sound that we're hearing, I believe, is this as he's using it, but I'm sorry, you have to die. Oh, look at the sad effects. Do we get your diamond sword when you die? No, I didn't think we would, but worth a try. He died so that others can live, I guess. But okay, I like the hats. I like the fact they've been given tools as part of their models. I don't like the creepiness of the face and how understated this is. This is both minimalistic and vanilla inspired, which is absolutely crazy. But yeah, okay. There's some cobblestone. There's the rest of the textures there. Again, just kind of stripped down and pulled back a little bit. A nice door, must be said. Okay, now is there an iron golem around that we can have a look at? Or do I have to spawn one in? There's another sheep there. Wait, this guy, hang on. Who are you? You've got a mace. Hello. Why do you have armor? Why are you better tooled than me? This is a nitwit. This has no job. He's got iron armor. As he walks, he's walking with the iron sound. And he's got a mace. This is a big beat. I like the characters, man. That's really nice. That's unique. I've not seen that in any other texture pack. That is really unique. Do we have an iron golem? It doesn't look like we do. Either that or I'm being completely blind. So let's go here. And then let's just spawn in one. Because we need to see how an iron golem looks. Do you need an iron golem when you've just got a nitwit running around with a mace? There he is, iron golem. Thank you. Wait a minute. What did I just pick up? I just picked something up. Where did I get that from? Oh no, that was my diamond axe. I thought I picked that up from the dead guy, but I didn't. Okay. Iron golem. Whoa, that's not a nitwit. Okay, the iron golem is a villager wearing iron armor and holding a mace. I stand corrected. No wonder why I couldn't see him. Oh, that's actually sick. He's the big bruiser of... Okay. No wonder why I couldn't see... This is so cool. Okay, this is what I mean by taking a vanilla-inspired pack and making it your own with creativity. This is so cool. That's amazing effort right there. I really like that. Okay, let's set it to nighttime then. And let's see what hostile mobs look like. So the moon is coming up now. And again, very understated, but very painting style right there. I kind of like the feel. It feels quite calm. It feels quite... calming. Yeah, it's probably the best way to put it. Now, it's not the sharpest textures in the world. It's not the most amazing textures in the world. But for the theme, I kind of like it. I wouldn't use it in terms of a texture pack that we'll be getting involved in. But I do like the overall calming theme. And then you add in the music and the sound effects. I think there's an audience for this. Let's drink some night vision potion. And let's see. So we've got the pillager outpost over here. Now, if they're going to turn iron golems into villagers with weapons, what will they do with something like the... Okay. The demony red eyes. They're all kind of wearing like uniforms. I like that they've carried on with that villager feel though. If you saw this guy just walking down and you didn't immediately notice the red eyes, you'd think they were villagers until they started grunting at you. And they are grunting. Okay, fair dues. So let's get down here. Let's see what we've got going on. Now remember as well, arachnophobia warning. I have absolutely no idea what the spiders look like in this. So we're going to find that out together. Just be careful. There we go. Right. Okay. Well, there's two. Let's get it out of the way then. Spiders. Nasty little stringy legs. 6 legs. I have to say I don't like that. I have to say I don't like it. It's not even creepy. It feels like a placeholder. It feels like a spider unloaded. And there's its feet just tapping as well. Not the biggest fan of that spider or even the sound that we got from that. We've got a skeleton here. No transparency. Transparency taken away. Because when you're dealing with 14 by 14, not the easiest to fit in transparency as well. Trying to get a sound. It sounds digital. He sounds like he's digital. I don't like that. It doesn't fit what he is. He sounds like a robot, but he doesn't look like a robot. We should probably check as well for variation. Hang on. Excuse me, mate. Alright. Okay, we got different sizes. Different designs. We got a big guy. We got little guys. We got what look like drowned guys. Off-color egg ones. Oh, hello. There we go. Okay, I like the variation. I like the difference in sizes. I don't like the sounds. They don't even sound like... They're not even like bones clanging together. I don't like that at all, I'm afraid. We've got a zombie. Oh, actually, before we do that, let's just quickly get... So, let's get some more spiders out and just see what we've got for variation here. None. No variation on the spiders. Okay, let's grab the zombie. Now, the sounds are loud. I'm not going to lie to you. The sounds are very loud. Let's get down here. And we're going to pop out a zombie. Different sizes again. Slightly giant ones. Not as much variation here, apparently. Although we've got the green. We've got the eggshelly one. We had the bogged looking one. The kind of drownedy one. Alright, at least the sounds are on theme here. They are actually zombie sounds, which is cool. There was an Enderman. How you doing, mate? We'll see you at the end. And then over here, lastly, we've got a creeper as well. So this is a more vanilla-y creeper. Then we've got a little red one with that understated face. I just don't like the face. I've got a bigger one, a big grey one. So yeah, I really like the touch there of the different sizes. That's really nice. And the different colors are cool as well. But overall, not the biggest fan of the understated textures. I'm sure that doesn't shock anyone. And that skeleton sound seemed very off-key. Like it sounded like it was supposed to be for a robot, but they didn't look like robots, which was just weird, I'm afraid. Really like the zombies though. That was cool. And the spider just seemed very understated. Let's go off to an ocean now. And let's go and see what the ocean monument looks like. If you're a fan of these texture pack reviews, please do leave a like on the video. Drop a comment, let me know what you think about the texture pack being featured today. And if you haven't already, please do consider hitting the subscribe button. Also, if you want to help contribute to making these texture pack reviews happen, please do consider hitting the join button and becoming a channel member today. Thank you very much. So we're above an ocean monument now. It's still nighttime. I've still got the night vision potion on. And let's dive straight under. So the water has some really good visibility from above with night vision potion. Once we get underneath, the visibility takes a while to come back in. And then we've got some really nice prismarine bricks, in my opinion. I mean, it's very easy to make nice bricks for me. I think the bricks here look cool. I'm not the biggest fan of the prismarine itself. We're back to that grainy feel. And these two blocks, the grains into the bricks, just feel like they're from two very different worlds, in my opinion. But fair dues. They've tried to add a little bit of grain to the bricks, but they've either made the prismarine too grainy, or they've not made the bricks grainy enough to make them fit. In my opinion, of course. Got the sea lantern here. A little bit rough, but it does the job. Not bad. And then if we pop under here, let's see what the big guy is saying. Okay, a massive color blob. Can we get you to pop out? Oh, hello. That is his face right there. What is that? If I saw that in any other texture pack, I think that was broken. It's like paint just mixed. I don't like it. You can see where it takes the damage, it slightly changes color, but is that supposed to be the eye? This feels like it's almost artistic in a bad way. I'm not a fan of that, I'm afraid. The little ones, I'm not the biggest fan of the models in general. I'm not the biggest fan of the colors. Yeah, this is a bit of a downer for me, I'm afraid. One thing we could check while we're here. No mob variations there either. So for a pack that actually says it's got mob variations, not every mob seems to have variations. Either that or we're getting very unlucky. We've got drowns with some weird sounds again. And then here, they've got like a wibble wobble sound. We have got variation, but again, it's... Oh, I like his one. Oh, I'm shutting up. That's nice. Okay, I like that variation. I like the pirate hat. That's cool. There is variation here. That's good. What's wibbly wobbly? Is it the Guardians? The Guardians or the Drowns are wibbly wobbly, and I'm not sure what it is. I need that back though, if you don't mind. Thank you. But this hasn't been the strongest section for me. I don't really like the textures. The variation is like carrying some weight here, but overall not the strongest. Let's go underground now and let's see what trial chambers look like. So we're in a trial chamber now, and you know what? If I didn't know slightly better, I'd be saying here that this wasn't updated. This is incredibly faithful to vanilla in how they've designed this. Even with the copper blocks, the mossy cobblestone, it's just all slightly less quality. Is that the right term? I don't know. The resolution, because it's gone to 14 by 14, it just all feels that slightly downgraded. But you can tell it has changed ever so slightly. Has it changed for the better? I'm going to say no. I don't prefer this over the vanilla textures myself. It just feels a little bit cheaper, in my opinion. Let's get the breeze and see how that goes. Like that there. Again, I'd say that was broken. Everything seems to have that slightly misused toys style world feel to it. It's a bit weird with the face. No variation here, not even size variation on this one. So again, it's not every mob. And then you can hear me walking over the metal or the copper, just to show off a bit more of that sound variation as well. And one other thing, as we're underground, I might as well say, there will be certain cave noises that will occur that can give off a creepy and horrifying aspect. I haven't got any here now, but it does carry on that audio overhaul. You could be mining and hear voices. You could be exploring a cave and hear a different cave sound than you're used to. So that audio overhaul is definitely there, just not the best format to show it off, really. Let's head over now to the Armoury. Here we are then in the Armoury, and we can see how the world generates down. It's a very grayscale world, in fact. The deep slate isn't feeling as dark as usual. One thing though, there is a weird lighting effect. You get that weird kind of lighting patterns going on in the world, so just bear that in mind. Visually, if you have any like visual impairments, it might not be the easiest thing. We can see the cherry blossom trees on here, which is a nice pink and red. We've got the trees for the rest here too. And because we've got that stripped down texture, everything just feels like it's a little bit more schmelched together. Like a little bit more crushed in, which is a bit weird. It's not my nicest art design that I like. It's not what I would like. We've got the creaking here though. That's really cool with the eyes on there. Definitely leans into that creepy feel that little bit more, which is nice. Very good for that. We've got the mangrove, which again shows off, because everything feels like it's squished together. It just gives that eeriness to it, which is very weird. We've got the doors here. Does the job absolutely fine. And then we've got the beds, trapdoors, carpets on walls on here. And so the beds look very blurry, very smooshed together. I'm just coming up with words. They're squashed is probably the best way to say it. We've got the precious blocks and the ores here. And even the ores feel quite blurry. It's not easy on my eyes. I don't know how it is for everybody else with the YouTube compression, but it's not the easiest on my eyes. I really like that though. The ancient debris with the purple is quite nice. The glass, good strong colors, very strong border. If you're looking for your seamless glass, this won't be it. And then here we can go for the rest of the blocks, and some of these are very difficult to look at here. Not the easiest thing. Why is this one facing a different way? The acacia slab faces a different... Now, is that because of how I've placed it? No, the acacia slab is just rotated for some reason. The acacia planks are just rotated for some reason. That's a bit off-putting. Okay, does that change if I place it from this side? No. They're just weirdly the wrong way. Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. And then we've got the rest of the wood planks here into some stone. Now, I like this mossy cobblestone, or mossy stone, sorry, more than I like the mossy cobblestone. The moss is very overgrown here, whereas here it's a bit more understated. And then we start getting those more vanilla-y feeling blocks here. Even the bone block has a bit of blur to it. The textures are definitely not the strongest part of this. The creativity that gets added is definitely the strong part. The audio is stronger than the textures, and in some cases it's not great, but I think it's better than the textures. Let's get the Wandering Trader. And then I've missed completely. Well, how you doing, buddy? You good? We'll get you from over here. Where's your face? Where's your face? Okay, he's got that Justin Bieber hairstyle with the one eye as well. Any variation to him? No. Okay, cool. So there's going to be two of those running around. Got the camel here with that grainy texture again. I don't like the sniffer. That's very difficult to look at. And then we've got the slimes with the weird sounds. Those are very weird sounds. They sound kind of like breezes. I don't... Some of the sounds for the mobs, I'm not... I don't want to say I'm not a fan of. I'm just not sure of. And then we can go back to the blocks here as well. And just see these. Blur and squishiness is very apparent. Even this block, the Gilded Blackstone, which is usually an easy one for me to say I like, I'm not the biggest fan of. Ugh, yeah, the texture's not for me here. Not for me. I like the workbenches though, they're kind of cool. They you know, sticking to that vanilla theme while staying on brand. Works quite well. I like that. That's nice. That respawn anchor with the blue. I kind of like that. And then we've got the cactus here as well. Okay, fair dues. And then we can go into the armor. So if we go up here, we've got the leather armor, very understated, not much going on. Got the tools here. Doesn't look like an immediate copy and paste from the wood tools. And you can see the armor, the leather armor with the different colors. They've gone for a full color change. Very nice. I prefer that to the weird ones with the kneecaps, so I do like that. The chainmail, good transparency here. Okay, smooth colors. And then we've got the weaponry. Starting to see a little bit, I think, of copy and paste. Yeah, they start. Once you get into the stone... No, once you get into the iron, the stone is slightly different because it's got these little nibs and nabs on. Good color, though. Not bad. Iron. You can hear me walking on the quartz. Not muffled by the carpet. Weird. Okay. Got copy and paste in the armors. And now we've got copy and paste in the weapons here. It looks like the iron and the gold looking exactly the same. Good color, but I don't want copy and paste, man. And it just adds to that. The textures are secondary here. the diamond, the diamond. They've slightly extended the hilt here on the sword. And then they've made the axe double-sided, so netherite slightly different. So there's some copy and paste between iron, gold, and diamond. Netherite, stone, and wood look slightly different, but the armor's looking exactly the same as well. Bright purple, quite cool. Hopefully I will remember now to put the trims on there as well. It doesn't look like they've changed any trims at all. They look very vanilla in trim, so that's a shame as well. And it's part of the reason why I haven't started my trim series yet, because texture packs just don't seem to care about them as much as I would have thought that they did. So that's that. And then we've got the elytra, bright red and orange. We've got the trident on here. I like that little blue, not bad. The shield does the job. Got the mace, quite plain. The heavy core doesn't even look like it's been updated. The bundles, at least they're the right size. And then if we get the pumpkin on, we had a little custom sound there. And the visibility is alright. It's not bad. Easy to see. Let's step back. Ah, the underlay, this bit, is the same design as the face. I like that. That's a good touch. And if we take it off, no sound. Put it back on. Very digital in sound again. Computerized. Why? Very weird. Very weird indeed. Okay. And then lastly then, for the custom GUI, we do have custom GUI here on the hunger, health, and XP bar. Alright then, cool. So, whoops, excuse me, that's done. Nice. Let's head over to the Nether now, and let's see what's going on there. Alright then, so as we're going to head into the Nether, I wanted to see how the sound of the Nether portal was. So let's light it. Not much. Not much, if anything, there. What happens if we go into it? Okay. That sounded a lot more sinister than I'm used to. I have slightly turned on the audio music in the background in areas as well, because I started to feel like I'm not hearing much audio overhaul. And I'm going to start walking through things a bit more as well, so you can hear me trying to like move. And when we're breaking down stone, maybe we can just have a look and see how it sounds with a pickaxe as well. I know we're in creative, but it should be alright. Pretty much the same. Oh yeah, we've got the sound of breaking stone there as well. I like the lava texture there. That's not bad. Alright, let's get up into an actual part of the world. I need to get night vision potion turned off as well, because this is just strong. Very strong. Let's get this. Drink my milk. Thank you. So again, like, not much in terms of the drinking of the milk sound or anything like that, but how does it sound just flying through the Nether? It still feels very Minecrafty in feel. We've got a bit of music behind me now as well. Okay, getting some eeriness. Soul sand down here. That's a gig. Okay, we had a ghast. Hello. Crying with no face. It definitely feels like it's trying to be artistic, which is fair enough. Basically, they want to make their own view. I like that. I like the fact that they're putting their own touches on them. Not exactly changing the world here. Do we get any variation in the ghasts? Let's see. But they are changing things to make it their own. We'll have loads. No variation on the ghasts at all. I don't even see size variations there, which is a shame. So again, a texture pack that claims to have mob variations, it's not apparent on everything, which is what I would have expected. And the world just genuinely feels very, very Minecraft. Standard Minecraft, not exactly changing the world too much, so it is still very vanilla inspired. We've got the magma cube here, which has elements of the magma block on the bottom of it. I like that. That's nice. This is them adding their creative flair to it. That's good. Is there... I want to get another ghast, just because I want to hear or see how it is when it attacks. We've also got zombified piglins, which again, no variation. Not even height variation there. That's a shame. Let's go into survival, which is there. See if we can get an attack off of one of these ghasts. That guy just disappeared. He didn't want none. Hello, mate. Can I get an attack off you? Oh, wow. Okay, that was definitely a horrible face. That was definitely a horrible face off of that ghast there. Okay. There's how fire looks as well. What is that? Oh, striders. Okay. And there's the two different styles. They got little feet on as well. Little netherite feet. Okay, I like that. That's nice. So there are some areas where this is a great texture pack. In terms of creativity, it's so cool. Other areas leaves me a little bit lacking though, I can't lie. And then as we pop in, we've got the warped biome here. Again, very vanilla. Let's go and try and find a fortress, I think. Alright, and so we've got the fortress here inside this basalt delta, and we get a lot of that. That screaming as I was flying around from the ghasts spawning in, that happens a lot as we're going around. So it definitely adds to that horror, creepy element that we've got going on. Let's go through here and see what we can find. We've got a giant mushroom there. Do we have any blazes? Do we have any wither skeletons? Probably not. For a little while. Knowing my luck. What about around here? The bricks on the Nether fortress, the Nether bricks, they're looking fine. Nothing too bad there. They don't even look massively understated or toned down. We've got a blaze here. Okay. Little hovering bits of platform there. Let's see what happens. No variations again. It's so disappointing when there's no mob variations in a pack that says it should have them. You shouldn't be allowed to claim mob variations if you don't have them for everything, in my opinion. Or like 90% of them. We've got the wither skeleton here. Again, what am I missing here? Why do they sound so digital? I don't like that. No variation, no reason for a digital sound. Not the biggest fan. I'm starting to lose a bit of luster on this, I'm afraid. Let's get the wither out here. So the wither's spawning in. You can hear him behind me. It feels like a lot of the sounds are very synthy for some reason. I'm not sure. I kind of like the color change here though. Why does he have a command block on him? What does that even mean? Is there supposed to be more robotic elements to this? Have I completely missed the mark? He's got like pew 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 sounds. This feels very mixed up. I feel like I'm missing something here. Where's the product page? Original music and reimagined sounds. Nothing about it being robotic or computerized. Mentions groundbreaking audio overhaul. I don't know, man. It asks more questions than it answers, in my opinion. We're going to head to the end now, but I'm going to actually light an end portal and see how that sounds, as we've got the crimson biome behind me as well for people who are interested in that. So let's go and see how it sounds to light the portal and go to the end. Alright, so we're at the end portal now, so let's just light this last one up. Okay, so it's a soft little da-da-ding, da-da-ding as we're going through. Not much, I expected a little bit louder, but okay, let's pop in. There was the loud bang on that, very kind of glitchy sound. And then as we're popping around, so the end, again, feels very nethery. Obsidian feels like your normal Minecraft obsidian. The Enderman, now I want to get a few of these next to each other. Let's spawn a load of these. So again, we've got those different sizes. Got massive dudes, which you can't hit. The model doesn't go up that high, so you can't hit them in the head when they're up that high. The hitbox hasn't been adjusted, so that's something that's just a little bit weird. No changes to the actual how they're looking, the texture, but the size. Oh, well, the eyes are changing actually. Look, you got the red into the green. Now, if I'm not mistaken as well, I want to check this. I think I was told to just keep an eye out for how they sound when they're mad. So, we're going to go into survival. Okay, they got a little yell on them. Trying to just get a couple of them over here. Okay, so they got that sound there. That sounded quite loud. I've got it turned down in my headphones, but that sounds like that would have been quite loud. And then, yeah, so the only color change is the eyes from green to purple. And then you've got the different size of the model. And then we got the dragon. Hello. I like the little flare on that. I like the change to the model. Not really much, though. I mean, the face very toned down. Bright purple, kind of feels like an axolotl in design. What happens when you get her killed? Let's go to kill at everybody. She got Thanos out of existence there, and there was the sound too. And then the Ender Dragon egg itself, quite cool as well. Okay, I don't know, I'm kind of losing how impressed I am with this pack. I don't know if you guys can tell. You probably can, but it's a bit weird in my opinion. Let me know down in the comments what you guys are thinking. We're going to head to the ancient city now, and we're going to see what the Warden looks like, and then I'll give my final review. Alright, so we're in the ancient city and we're going to just drink up the night vision and have a look at what we've got going on. So again, very vanilla inspired, very minimalistic in how much they've changed here. It's just very much sticking to that theme. Even the sculpt has the same colors. Not really much in terms of textures to be looking at. If we try and find ourselves a shrieker though, what with this being audio overhaul, do we have any other sounds? Let's go down here. Nothing. Okay, we do get a different sound on the shrieker. That's cool. What about over here? Okay, a little bit of a subtle sound change there. Not much in terms of everything else. But yeah, I mean, it's just... I'm not the biggest fan of a vanilla texture pack. So I really like when things are slightly changed. And I really liked some of the creative aspects that have been added to this pack. But I'm running out of things to say, to be honest. I do like this sound, though. Let's get the Warden out here. Alright, so I think the Warden should be about to spawn. That's number 4. Okay. I stayed quiet there because I was in a little bit of shock. I still am in a little bit of shock. This is mad. I'm gonna... I don't know. I'm not going to be able to shake the fact that people think I'm very negative all of the time here, but I don't like it. I don't like the Warden. I think the Warden looks cheap. I think the Warden sounds terrible. Like, it's just uncomfortable. I have my headphones turned down. And it just sounds terrible. Now, I've got a hyperfixation on my own audio, right? And I can't get my audio to sound good at all. I don't like the way that sounds. I don't understand the hat. It's like it's trying to tickle some horror elements. The Warden just looks flat. I don't like it. I'm not one to sit here and tell people that I like something just because it's popping or because it's trendy. I try to really give my honest opinions. And I didn't like the Warden. And I feel like this texture pack, it's not a texture pack that you can just review as a texture pack, right? I feel like there's multiple different aspects. You have the music is one aspect. The sound effects is a second aspect. The textures is a third aspect. And then the general experience of playing the game is a fourth aspect. And you can even add in a fifth. With it being a vanilla-inspired pack, the creativity is another one. So I feel like I have to give different scores for all of them and then give like an overall score. So in terms of the music, I like the music. That background music, I think it's really, really cool. I would suggest going to check out their SoundClouds. The links are down in the description. I hope I've got the right links to the SoundClouds to listen to the music. I think the music is really cool and it fits the theme of the game from the bits that I've heard. So go and check that out. I give a straight like 8 or 9 for the music in the background. I'm not a music in the background player, but I think it's very, very good. So go and check that out. Not sponsored, other music exists. Go and listen to whatever music you care about. But that's that. The sound effects in places are very good. Like, I liked the sound effects on the cows. I liked the sound effects on the zombies. In other places, I don't quite understand them. Why does a skeleton have a digital sound? Why did the wither fire pew 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 sounds? Just didn't quite get that myself. The wither skeleton itself as well sounded just synthy for synthy sake. And then a lot of sound effects are very bassy, very harsh, very loud for the sake of being loud. So for that, I'd probably give it about a 4, in all honesty. And a lot of that's being carried just by the fact that they've changed it and been creative with it. In terms of the textures, the 14 by 14 textures, they're vanilla inspired, which bores me. The price 990 mine tokens is for more than just the textures. I get that, but it's still quite expensive for what in a lot of places is the same old, same old. Now, there are variations, but they're not on every texture. They're not on every mob. The size texture or the size model variations are very cool, but it doesn't look like the hitboxes have been expanded, so there's questions there. So in terms of the textures, I'm probably giving about a 6, because for every good creative change, like the bell on the cow, for instance, you get a weird one, like the Warden with the silly colored hat and the really bad texture design. So I hope that makes sense. In terms of experience of actually playing it, now it should be said, I've had a few people in the Discord that have played with this texture pack. They've played it in a survival world. They really enjoy the music. They really enjoy the random sounds that pop up. They really enjoy the overall experience of this. Now, I can't give a review on that, but I can tell you that people have said they really do enjoy it and they speak very positively about it. So that's another thing. And then lastly, just the overall creativity of it. I mean, for the overall creativity, I've got to give it an 8 in terms of just how strong the creative choices can be when they're applied. I think that's very good. And so overall, I think I'm trying to be a little bit positive here. It could very easily be a 6. I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm going to lean towards being positive, but I have to say, I don't like the overall feel. And it has quite a lot of questions for me personally. And I know I can be quite harsh. I also know I'm not always in the best headspace. So that's probably, I'm going to give it a 7. It's a low 7. It could easily be a 6. I'm kind of thinking I wish I gave it a 6, but I'm going to stick with a 7. Let me know down in the comments what you give this pack. It's a very weird pack. It's a very different pack. So I commend them for that. But let me know what your review is. Please do leave a like on the video if you enjoyed this. And if you're new to the channel, please do hit the subscribe button as well. I'd greatly appreciate it. Thank you for watching, everybody, and peace.